So you want to have strong, intense, juicy, toe curling, body shaking orgasms, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. So intensity in your orgasm depends on 5 factors, and we're going to go through each of the 5 and address what you can do to amp them up so that you can have more intense orgasms. So first, let's go over what we mean by an intense orgasm. So an intense orgasm or more intense orgasm typically includes stronger muscle contractions, and it also feels emotionally more intense. It feels more pleasurable. It feels like energy is flowing, not just through your clitoris, but all throughout your vagina, your pelvis, and even throughout your body. So you can have full body orgasms. And that's one way to increase the intensity, is to increase the flow of that energy. And so these 5 factors that we're going to go over is going to help you to not only have stronger muscle contractions, so that contraction that happens when you're having an orgasm, that repeated contraction feels even stronger and juicier, but I want you to also be able to experience an orgasm that flows all throughout your vagina and all throughout your body and really emotionally elevates you. So if you're curious on how I know all of this, I am actually an intimacy coach. Hi, I'm Unique and I'm the Pussy Queen. I specialize in Tantra, somatic healing, and also feminine mysticism. So I help women become their most orgasmic and potent selves, and part of it is obviously becoming more orgasmic, but also becoming masterful in our bodies and feeling empowered and sexy and confident in our bodies and being able to use our energy to get whatever we want. And so today we're talking about how to increase your orgasm intensity. So the first factor that affects your orgasm intensity is, like I mentioned, the actual muscle contractions. And so this relates to your pelvic floor muscles. So pelvic floor tone is the first thing that you want to look at if you want to have stronger, more intense orgasms. The stronger your pelvic floor, the stronger your orgasms. So the more you're going to experience that muscle contraction, and the more intense and juicy that orgasm is going to feel. And so how do you actually increase your pelvic floor tone? So before you actually increase your pelvic floor tone, please do not rush into Kegels. Before you actually increase your pelvic floor tone, you want to make sure that your pelvic floor is in a place where it can actually build tone. And so this is not appropriate if you already have tension, tightness in your pelvic floor around the vaginal opening. If this is something you're aware of, if sex is painful, if you are experiencing any kind of tightening or tension in the pelvic floor, please do not go to strengthening exercises. If you add strengthening exercises to a muscle that's already tight, you're just going to make it tighter and not in a good way, right? So this is actually what leads to dysfunction and pain during sex for a lot of women, and discomfort is that we tend to hold a lot of tension in the hips and pelvic floor and in the vagina that we're not even aware of. And this is actually one of the ways that the body holds trauma and holds emotional pain. And so you want to make sure that you relieve that tension first. And you can do this by doing a massage, incorporating pelvic floor, diaphragmatic pelvic floor breathing. You can work with specifically a pelvic floor physical therapist. And I also have a sensual refresher kit where I've included some breathwork practices, vagina massage, things that you can incorporate now to start to remove that tension, and especially if it's connected to trauma or emotional pain, anything that you're holding that tightness, any reason that you're holding that tightness, we get to start to explore and see what's here in the practices that I've included in the sensual refresher kit. But if you are someone who knows you're pretty healthy and good to go, and when it comes to your pelvic floor, then you can start to incorporate toning exercises that's going to tone your pelvic floor and strengthen those muscles. And so you can incorporate Kegels. I personally love to work with the jade egg, and I have a full program on that, working with the jade egg or any Yoni egg. The Yoni egg comes in different varieties, and you can also get it in glass, so you don't actually have to pop a crystal up your pussy if that does not feel good for you. So there's different options, and the tool, the Yoni egg tool, is just one of the ways that you can work to support your pelvic floor and support your vagina and build those muscles so that you have the capacity to have those really intense orgasms. And I'm gonna give you a simple exercise that you can start doing right now to improve your pelvic floor tone. But actually, let's get into number 2 because they are connected. So, along with your pelvic floor tone, you also want to work on your vaginal tone. Again, stronger muscles means stronger orgasms. And the thing to know about vaginal and pelvic floor tone is it's not like toning other parts of your body. You're not trying to bulk out by any means necessary. You want a supple yet strong vagina, right? You want a supple, flexible, strong vagina, one that's able to contract, and also one that's able to relax fully, right? So this is really important when you're trying to tone either vaginally or with your pelvic floor, is knowing that this part of your body is working differently than other parts of your body, and you're not really going for bulking out, right? That's not what we're doing here. And so when we're working with our vagina in terms of toning, it's really important to be mindful of that and include both soothing practices like a massage, breath work, and also toning exercises like the Yoni egg exercises or Kegel exercises that I mentioned. And so number 2 is working with vaginal tone, increasing your vaginal tone. Now the Yoni egg, obviously, because it's being inserted in your vagina. And if you're not familiar with the Yoni egg, it is a small egg-shaped crystal or glass that you insert into your vagina, and through squeezing around this egg, you help to tone your vaginal muscles, and squeezing up on this egg, you help to tone your pelvic floor muscles. So there are different exercises that you can do with this little egg inside that help to build your tone, and they come in different sizes depending on where you are and, you know, where you are in your sexual journey, and also where you are. Maybe you've recently had a pregnancy, you want to start with a larger egg. If you aren't recently sexually active or never been sexually active before, I'm a late bloomer, so this was me, but I didn't know about the Yoni egg practice at the time, but I wish I did, because it's actually a really simple way to start exploring your sensuality and your sexuality without having to get a dildo or something that feels more penetrative that you're not ready for. So they actually come in really small sizes as well. And I personally use the medium size, and as you become more toned, you can actually decrease the size to increase the challenge, the toning. So it's just a really fun tool to help you strengthen your pelvic floor muscles. And I know there are other pelvic floor trainers out there that I'm excited to use. If you know one that you love and you use it, feel free to pop it in the comments so that we can share the knowledge, right? I love having spaces like these because women get to talk about these things and talk about what works and what helps in ways that we don't always, maybe we don't feel comfortable talking about it with our girlfriends or our moms or whatever. And so having a space like this where we can share that wisdom is so essential. So if you can put us on some goodies, feel free to pop them into the comments as well. So back to pelvic floor and vaginal toning. So the vagina is a muscle. It's not just an empty canal that's not doing anything, right? It's a muscle, and it can contract and relax. and strengthening the muscles. It's like a sleeve, it's a circular muscle. Strengthening this muscle helps you to have stronger orgasms and also helps you to build your connection between your mind and your vagina, which a lot of us don't have initially, and that's why it's so hard sometimes to experience a G-spot orgasm or any kind of vaginal orgasm, because we don't have that connection with the muscle there. So you want to work on strengthening those muscles. It will help you to experience not only more intense orgasms, but unlock your vaginal orgasms as well. Oops, I almost forgot. Here is your free mini practice that you can start doing now to increase your pelvic floor and vaginal tone. So the Yoni egg is a physical egg, right, that you insert, but you can also work with an imaginary egg. You can use your imagination to squeeze and contract around in an energetic or invisible imaginary egg, which is still going to activate the muscles. It's kind of like working with your body weight instead of lifting weights, right? If you've done any body weight exercises before, you know that it still works, right? You're working with your mind, right? And activating the muscles with your mind and just contracting through focus. And that's also going to help you to build that connection between pussy and brain so that you can experience those vaginal orgasms, like I said. So the next time that you are going to self-pleasure, or even maybe you're in the car and you're driving through traffic, or you're sitting in traffic, not driving through traffic, that's probably a little bit too active to try this. But let's say you're sitting in traffic and you're just like, what should I do now? Try doing little pelvic floor lifts. So on the inhale, contract and squeeze up. In fact, you can do it with me right now. Contract and squeeze up, lifting from the perineum, which is that space between the vaginal opening and the anus. Contract and lift up. Exhale. Relax completely. Inhale, contract and squeeze up. Exhale. Relax completely. And whenever I do this, I always get a boost of energy. So you can try it out and see how it feels. And I also host live monthly practices if you want to get a taste and do some more exercises. And all the information on that will be linked below. Number 3. Now this one is a little bit unexpected, but it's a major component on your ability to experience more intense orgasms. Ones that are intense, not just physically, but emotionally, sensually, that really opens your senses and expands your pleasure capacity. And it's your ability to surrender to intensity. Now, this is why I love this work, because a lot of women, we don't realize that we are afraid of ourselves and we're afraid of our emotions. We're afraid of feeling our big feelings. And in our society, we are often condemned and we aren't celebrated for our big feelings. You know, for a long time historically, women's feelings have been pathologized, right? And so learning to embrace our feelings again and learning to embrace the big ocean that is within us, that and roll with the energies, the feelings that are coming up, riding the waves of intensity. This is how you unlock those orgasms that are not only physically intense, but emotionally and spiritually intense, and takes you to new dimensions of yourself and even the universe. So this is my special touch. This is really what I help women do, is experience soul expanding orgasms that take us into new places inside of ourselves and also help us to see our world and our life in a new way. Let's get on to number 4, which is sexual desire. So desire actually helps to increase the intensity of our orgasm, because usually when we have strong desire, we are more likely to experience a stronger release, a stronger surrender. So if you remember from number 3, our ability to surrender to intensity, is also going to amp up our orgasm and amp up the emotions around it and the energy around it. And so a little hack for letting go a little bit more easily is to amp up your sexual desire, right? The more that you think about sex in a positive way, the more that you think of your pleasure in a positive way, and you let yourself desire and want and like really want to savor or let go or go wild, whatever it is that connects for you, the more that you allow yourself to go there mentally, because your brain is one of the biggest sex organs you have, the more that you allow yourself to go there mentally and really just desire and want and build up that like longing throughout the day, like thinking about it. If you have a partner, maybe texting little sexy texts throughout the day, the more that you build your desire, the more likely you're going to be surrendering more deeply into that intensity and letting the energy flow. So work on building up your sexual desire. If you're someone who feels cut off from your sexuality completely, like I said, I have a ventral refresher kit that's going to help you connect more deeply to your pussy and your body and your sexuality. So go ahead and explore that. If you're like, I'm so busy, I have so much going on, I don't even know where to begin with that, I have laid it out for you. I have 5 really awesome practices. They take about 10 to 20 minutes a day, and that's all it takes to start building that connection again. And you can do them as much as you need to. Wilder, deeper, stronger orgasms start with your connection to you. Get your Central Refresher Kit at uniquebelle.com/kit. Your kit includes 5 pussy tingling practices to expand your orgasm and increase your pleasure sensitivity, from a healing pussy massage to a sex goddess activation meditation and a guided pussy breathwork audio practice. You'll receive what you need to jumpstart your pleasure journey. Head to uniquebelle.com/kit to get guided practices and start your journey today. So go ahead and explore that if you feel totally disconnected from your sexual desire, but know that it's a really important component for increasing the intensity of your orgasm. All right, so here's the final component that I'm sharing with you. There's so many factors that make sex amazing, but these 5 are ones that you can start focusing on specifically if you are aiming to have stronger, more intense, more full-bodied, more full vagina, full pussy orgasms, right? Ones that it really extend throughout your entire body. Now, number 5 is about embodying our sexuality more fully. So like I said, desire is an important component, and likewise your relationship to your sexuality is really important too, because that's going to dictate how much you let yourself go there during sex, how much you let yourself really experience a full release. And so your sexual identity is gonna look different. It's not gonna look the same as it is for me. And it also changes throughout the year, throughout the day, throughout the season. At certain times, I am more spiritual oriented. I want to connect more with energy. I want to feel the goddess within. I want to connect outwards to the divine, and I want to feel the divine within, right? And other times I am exploring and I want to try anal sex. I want to try this, right? And it's about like kind of tasting the full spectrum for me, right? And so we all go through these different seasons, but allowing ourselves to freely move through our sexual seasons is also going to help our orgasm, because if we're kind of stifled and we're having sex that doesn't excite us, we're not allowing ourselves to explore our sexual desires, we're holding back, we're gonna be tense, we're not gonna allow that full release. And so as best you can, start to explore your sexuality in a more conscious way. I have a wonderful podcast, the Woman Gone Wild podcast, where we talk all things sex, becoming, and feminine wisdom, feminine mysticism, all of that in the Woman Gone Wild podcast. There's also lots of episodes on starting to explore your sexuality in a really conscious and juicy way. So feel free to pop into the podcast for more conversations to help you embody your sexuality more deeply. All right, that's what I have for you today. I hope you have fun exploring these 5 components. They all kind of piggyback off of each other and go together. So be sure to head to my website, uniquebelle.com. I'll also have the link below so that you can grab your Central Refresher Kit to get started. Like I said, I have practices in there that are going to help you increase your pelvic floor tone or pelvic floor connection, vaginal connection, and also start to explore your sexual desire and your sexual identity and start to embody that more fully. And I'll be releasing weekly videos here on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe, like, and comment below to let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything from this video that you would like me to elaborate on. And I hope that you live and love orgasmically. See you next time. Ready to go deeper? Take a peek at this month's live events calendar to join live practices and rituals to live and love orgasmically. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching.